All right, Kevin back with you for another episode of the $1 Million Relationships Podcast. And today I'm here with Francesca Rea. Francesca, welcome. So awesome to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much, Kevin. I'm really excited and honored to be a guest and looking forward to diving into the conversation.
Same. I am really looking forward to this. And, I got to give a shout out to Giovanni Marsico because, man, that guy for one, he's something else. And that's how you and I met was through his synergy group. And I've known Gio for oh gosh, probably like 14, 15 years now. And before he ever started Archangel, and I remember him and I being in New York City years ago at a mastermind group, and he invited me to dinner, and he's at dinner, he starts telling me about this vision that he has. I want to start doing these events, and I want to bring established entrepreneurs like you, Kev, and I also want to bring like new up and coming entrepreneurs. And I want to have, the established entrepreneurs just really pour into and support the up and coming entrepreneurs. And I also want them to support them financially. If maybe they can't afford to come, I want, the existing entrepreneurs to just be able to, like provide for scholarships for them and stuff. And he shared this vision with me. I'm just like, wow, this is really cool, Gio. And I was like, man, I'm totally in for this. Where do I send money to? And he's like, well, Kev, he's like, I got to tell you, you are the first one I've ever told about this. And so I'm going to have to get back with you and let you know. I'm like, well, that's cool. When you just let me know and I'm in. And it has been absolutely amazing to watch what has unfolded over the years since he hosted that very first Archangel event. And man, now I mean, I went to his last event in Toronto 6 months ago, and I think there was like 1,000 people there and stuff
I
like
was
that.
there and we didn't know each other. So, yes, that was my first introduction to Geo as well. And it was quite amazing. I think there's only 1,500 people there, if I'm not
Maybe
mistaken.
there was. Maybe there was. There was a lot of people
A
there.
lot of people.
And it's just and it's just been Geo is just he's such a beautiful filter because anybody that makes it into his world, I just know that they're probably going to be my kind of people and stuff,
Mm,
just because
yeah.
he's vetted them the same way I vet people in my world, that when people come into my world, they know, well, if Kevin let them in the door, they're probably my kind of people. Yeah.
I'll share this story with you, and Gio doesn't know this, but I was in the event, and I was probably in the front row before behind the VIPs,
Okay.
and I saw this guy. I think I'd seen him get up on stage earlier, and then I saw him sit right in front of me to watch the stage of whoever was speaking, and I thought that was so cool that the person that is running the entire event is in the audience like the rest of us seeing what we're seeing. And I thought, wow, who does that?
Yeah.
And he was just a t-shirt and jeans. He wasn't even like just like a regular attendee. So I thought that was pretty cool. And it really does speak volumes to who he is as a person. And I continue to be amazed at what he gives to everyone in his community. So I'm just getting on board and getting started with his world, and it really is starting to have a ripple effect. And really today's the first ripple.
Well, there you go. There you go. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I can speak from personal experience. There's plenty more where that came from.
I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I'll tell you, what we'll do is we'll just, I'm just looking forward to having this conversation with you today. And we're just gonna have a casual conversation. And I just want, start off by asking you, what do you do, Francesca, and who do you serve?
Right. So I am a wealth advisor and prosperity coach. So
Okay.
wealth advising has been over 22 years in Canada here, and it's been quite a journey through two children being birthed, market downturns, a divorce. I'm still here. I love what I do. I love my clients, and I learn from them all the time. And seeing them accomplish their goals, dreams, and desires is really what fuels me. Mainly women is my target market. I do work with a gentleman as well. I'm not saying I exclude them, but I've been finding in the last few years after going through my own divorce and journey through that, that I really resonate with those women that I understand what they're going through, the challenges, the questions, the fears, the doubts, the worries that they have through that process and even throughout their journey afterwards. So that's really been where been at lately. And then the prosperity coach part has been a newer thing.
Okay.
Just recently launched my book in November called Divine Wealth. And that is a journey in itself and is starting to roll into some coaching.
Okay.
So I'm really excited about where that might lead because it's just a new thing. So
Yeah.
I'm very excited about it. Yeah, very
Very
excited.
good. Very good. How did you get into this line of work to begin with, Francesca?
Yes. So I was a client of an advisor. Her name was Anna. And at the time, I was in sales for a food company. And she said, you know what? You could totally do this business and be in this career, and there is no limit on how much money you can make. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. However, it took me 4 years before I actually decided I was done with what I was doing and took the leap of faith, got into the business, and I haven't looked back. It's been 22 years. So it was a
Wow.
great move for me, and I'm grateful for her for nudging me in this direction.
So, how did you first get into it? Did you start right off from the beginning working for yourself, or did you start working for
Oh
somebody else?
yes.
You did.
Yep.
Okay.
I did the grunt work, the
Uh-huh.
legwork, built a practice that is really successful. And I have clients that have been with me since the beginning. So again,
Wow.
grateful for them and being on their journey as well as my journey. And we've come to a great relationship because a lot happens in 22 years. And, I see them having children, their children
Yeah.
growing up, their children getting married, their children now having babies, and, they're going through their lives. And so, that really brings me a lot of joy and seeing them through their own growth in their life as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to ask you next is, what does inspire you most about the work that you get to do and the impact you get to make, Francesca?
Well, most people think you're a wealth advisor, you just manage money. And, that I always say that's a very important piece, but I feel like it's the last piece
Okay.
because it's really about your life, right? And just finding out where you are, what lights you up, like as a client.
Mhm.
Just recently I met with a woman who had just gone on a divorce, and we were talking about, her sort of vision for her life. And she's just like, well, I think I should be doing this and I should be doing that. And I'm like, why do you feel like you should? Like, what, what really resonates with you? She's like, well, I'd love to, go overseas and work. And I'm like, oh, that sounds exciting. Like I could hear the tone in her voice change, and she just, really lit up, and she's like, oh, but I can't do that. And so I feel like I come into a place for women where I can give them permission to do what they really want to do. And that lights me up too, because now we're on a trajectory of, desires and dreams and goals.
Yeah.
And how can I help them get there, right? Like, what
Yeah.
does that look like for them? It's not about me. It's all about trying to find out what lights them up and how we can
Yeah.
deal with that from the financial blueprint side of things. Yeah.
That is so awesome. And you're right. Every time I hear somebody saying, well, I should do this or I should do this, I'm the same way. I ask them, well, why do you feel that way? Why do you feel that you should be doing that? Because a lot of time the stuff that we say we should do, a lot of times it's we heard somebody else say that. And so now, or maybe we invested in some training or whatever that, put it in our mind that we should be doing this, but maybe that's not a right fit for us at all. And
Absolutely.
and
Absolutely. Or it's not for me. I get that. I hear that quite often. Oh, that's not for me. I'm like, well, why isn't it not for
yeah,
you?
yeah,
And then you hear the stories that they come up with, and or the disbelief or the no trust in that what somebody sees in their mind or wants in their lives is really for them.
yeah,
And it's just pulling that out, and I love that part of my job.
yeah. Well, what's the result? And you don't have to share names if you can if you want, but you don't have to. What's a result that you've helped a client get that you're just incredibly proud of?
Oh my gosh, there's so many, Kevin.
Well, let me. Well, then
I
let's share. Let's let you share a
yeah.
couple, two or three of them.
Yeah, I think one for sure was started working with a couple and putting money away for their kids' education. So
Okay.
here in Canada, we have a specific education plan that's set up, and I would regularly call to say, okay, here's where you're at, here's what we can do, and get them on track. And when she wrote her first check to pay for the tuition fees, she was like, wow, like thank you so much for bothering me every year to put this away because I don't know where I would have gotten this money from. Like, in Canada, I don't know how different it is in the US, but at the time it was like, $20,000. And so, she was just so grateful. And now I have their children that I helped them put through school now come out with zero debt. And now I'm helping them buy houses and getting married. And so like that's just a wonderful trajectory to continue and then supporting them when they start having kids. So
Yeah. Yeah.
that is really helpful. One woman, again, the permission piece, went through a divorce. This was a number of years ago and she's like, oh, she's a teacher and she's like, I've been thinking about traveling. I'm like, great. What does that look like? She's like, I kind of been thinking about going to Africa. I'm like, oh my God, that sounds amazing. Oh, really? Like again, just providing that place of permission. And she
Yeah.
went, she came back. She's like, I'm going again next year. And she did it again and again. And then she ended up just finding herself living in a totally different country altogether. And she's just like, I can't believe like how different my life is now. And amazing, like just to allow somebody to be heard and say, yes, go do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
even just retirement, right? Like putting people in a great position for when they actually decide to no longer work and helping them navigate what that looks like and where to, start pulling their income so they don't feel like they're they're cash strapped or oh my God, I don't want to spend any money. Like, gosh, that's just such a not a great place to be in. So being
Yeah.
able to give
Yeah.
them the permission again to say, yes, you deserve it. You've worked hard. Like we've done all this planning all of these years, and now it's time for you to really enjoy your time off and travel. And yeah, I have one client, he's just been 4 times a year now traveling with his wife. And
Nice.
like, guess where we're
Nice.
going now? Guess where we're going now? I'm like,
Yeah.
amazing. This is amazing. Yeah.
So now I'm curious, and this will be interesting because my brother and I, we're only 2 years difference in age, and our each of our views around retirement are considerably different.
Hmm.
And his view around retirement is in a few more years, he's going to quit working. And he's been working for an engineer as an engineer. Always, I've been on fishing boats and cruise ships, traveled the world be an engineer, and he makes really great money doing that. Makes a great living, and he has planned for retirement, and he wants to retire, and then his comment to me is like, "I'm going to finally start living life the way I really want to, Kev."
Mm.
And and my idea of retirement is that heck, I'm already there. I'm already living the life that I want to live, and I don't want to stop doing what I do. And
Right.
so I'm curious, do you have clients like me and my brother on both sides of this spectrum as far as like how we view retirement and stuff?
Absolutely. And I have a number of clients that are even like, I don't even want to stop working, right?
Yeah.
And so the question I always say is, okay, so if you weren't doing your current career, what would you do differently? And they're like, oh, well, so we explore those things too. So again, it has nothing to do with the money, but it's
Yeah.
really, it kind of indirectly does deal with money, right? And so they'd be like, oh, I could do this and I could do that. And so we have those conversations. And then there are people, yes, like your brother that maybe I haven't instilled the permission idea to live life now.
Yeah.
But some
Yeah.
careers are like that, right? Like they're very structured. They're very much like an end date where there might be a pension and like, yep, I'm going to retire on this date. I'm going to collect this pension and then I'm done and I'm doing what I want to do. So I have heard that. I think it's very case specific in
Yeah.
career, right? Like you're an entrepreneur and you're it's different than I think than your brother who works at a company.
Yeah.
The mentality is very different.
Well,
Yeah.
and we should, and being in all fairness, he lives a pretty good life, And in fact,
Yes.
like right now, he lives in Grand Cayman, and he's got a oceanfront view right at his. I mean, sitting in his
Beautiful.
backyard is right at the ocean, and it's so
Beautiful.
beautiful,
Right. Yeah.
and and I love going down there to visit him in the wintertime and go find some sun when it gets colder here in Washington State. And
Yeah, I'd
so
love to go too.
he lives a great life, and he loves scuba diving, and part of his job he gets to scuba dive for his work,
Beautiful. He's kind of already
and
doing loving life, right? Like he's
yeah,
already kind of
yeah,
doing it. I think he probably just sees it differently. Like, I'm an engineer, it's very structured. I have to do this. Whereas you're not structured. I mean, you can go this way, that way, and
totally, yeah,
around, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
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 that would be
yeah.
sort of my interpretation of
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, because he does. He works 5 days a week. He's there from 9 to 5 at least, and and so yeah, and yeah, so yeah, there's a lot more structure for him for sure. But he lives a good life.
Yeah.
And so,
Let's not
so
forget your brother's having a good time.
that's right. That's right. So, well, okay. So now that we've got a little bit of context set, and listeners have an idea about who you are, Francesca, and what you're all about, I want to switch gears just a little bit. I want to talk about relationships a little bit here.
Mhm.
And so I'll start by asking you, have you ever been introduced to a person or persons who completely changed the course of your life or your business, so much so that much of what you have today would not be possible if not for this person or persons? And I'm just really excited to hear your story and your experience around this topic of relationships.
Yes. Actually, now I have a fourth one that I'm thinking of.
Okay.
The first one, I was living in this small town near Detroit, Michigan, so on the Canadian side, and I
Uh-huh.
was just doing my first career, and a job posting came up across my desk, and I was not sure if I should apply. It was a 4 hour, it was a city 4 hours away. I had to move, so it was quite a big deal. And she said one thing to me. She's like, I wish I could have done that. It's too late for me. And
Oh,
I went,
wow.
wow, okay. I didn't have any significant person in my life. I was living at my parents' place at the time where, she's like, I have a relationship. I have to look after my dad. I have all these things that are tying me down. And I was like, yeah, I'm moving. I'm going to apply for this job. And I got the job and I moved to Toronto. And I've been here ever since. So I'm loving the city. And so she was the first person that got me to a totally different city, totally different job.
Wow.
And the next person is Anna, who I mentioned. So she was my advisor at the time,
Okay.
and she helped me, structure my finances, help me buy my first home, get married, like all those wonderful things, and got me into this career. So again, haven't looked back. Then two other people came along. So recently, you might have seen her at Destiny Fest in Toronto. Adele Tevlin
I don't know who
is
Adele is. No.
she spoke on the stage that day, but
Okay.
she's a coach. And I went to a free a webinar. It was during COVID, and had just recently gone through my separation. And she did this free class. I said, sure, why not? And she said this one word, sabotage. And we do it all the time. And I was like, wow, I just did that the morning of. And, as she went into this conversation, I realized I need to meet with her. Like, I need to change my life. I was in a really bad place after the separation. And she really helped me shift out of my negative part of what I was dealing with. So
Okay.
that
Okay.
was amazing, and recognizing the true value of mindset.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and what we say to ourselves and what we believe and our actions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
that was critical. And then the third person, or the last person, the fourth person is Danielle Amos, another coach. And I did a VIP day with her. I worked with her for a year, again in the mindset space.
Mhm.
But the VIP day was quite profound for me. And so that was like in July when I worked with her. So from July to December, I doubled my income.
Wow,
I
congratulations.
didn't do anything more. I slowed down my business. I mean, this was all from her support and her work,
Mm,
and just slowed down and really got clear on who I wanted to work with, who I
yeah.
wanted to be, how I saw myself. Yeah, in 6 months, I doubled my income. I met my book coach. I wrote my book, and yeah, it's been pretty pivotal to have worked with those last two women for the last four
Wow.
years. Yeah, I don't recognize myself anymore.
That is, man, that is phenomenal. I'm totally with you on the whole mindset thing. I mean, that plays such a crucial role. And
Hmm.
I know for me personally, I've had to go through a lot of personal growth in order to get to where I am today, because I'm just this small town kid who grew up working on the farm, who,
Same here.
once I got out of, high school, I joined the military for 4 years, and then I spent the next 7 years working as a commercial fisherman on Alaska's Bering Sea. And
Wow.
today, I serve millionaires, multimillionaires, and billionaires. And
Absolutely.
who would have ever thunk that I would be here today? And at one point, I mean, I would meet a successful entrepreneur and kind of put them on a pedestal because I'm like, wow, look at how much they've done and look what they've accomplished and do the even the comparison game, man, so much more than I have.
Yeah.
And when I put these entrepreneurs on a pedestal like that, it makes it difficult for me to like serve them.
Right.
But
Right.
by just having conversations with them over the years, I've been doing kind of the relationship thing for 22 years now, and I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of entrepreneurs. And what I've come to realize is, you know, it doesn't matter how big somebody's business is, how successful they look from the outside looking in, how great things might look. We're all doing the best we can with what we've got. And
Absolutely.
and we all are way more alike than we are different.
Hmm.
And just coming to these realizations and stuff, has made all the difference. And that and realizing that, like you, Francesca, I have a gift. I am like
Absolutely.
really dang good at doing what I do. I am really good at bringing the right people together so that they can have the right conversation for the right reasons. And that's when
Absolutely.
magic happens. That's from that place, man, business can just get done. It gets easily, effortlessly, in flow, quickly, all of that kind of stuff.
Beautiful. It's
And
beautiful.
but we have to get to the point of being able to just have this 100% total confidence in ourselves and our abilities, and that we know for the right people, we are just incredibly valuable for the right people, and there's nobody going to be more valuable for them than us. Kind of
Absolutely. And you just reminded me, I heard the idea of like, we just need to ask,
hmm
right? And it doesn't matter if it's the right person or the right way of saying it. We just need to ask.
Yeah,
And so you're connecting people that are asking you
yeah,
or, sharing with you what they're looking for, doing. And I think that's pretty cool that we should be asking more for
yeah.
support and advice or connection with each other. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So many of us were just really great at giving, and we love helping others and serving others, but we're not great at receiving and God forbid asking for what we want. And
Exactly.
so and
Exactly.
yeah. Well, so what is an example of a situation where you personally, Francesca, got to make a really substantial impact, and maybe in the moment, maybe it even surprised you a little bit, but you also know that that would have never been possible if not for your relationship with any one of these four people that you've talked about. What's the situation where, you were empowered like that because of one of these relationships?
Hmm. Wow. That's a great question. You stumped me on this one. The impact, hmm, I think it really comes from my last coach, Danielle, and just the healing that I've gone through, the changes that I've gone through, the desires and goals that I've accomplished in such a short period of time, I
Mhm.
think allows me to show women that it is possible, right? If I
Mhm.
can do it, you can do it. And that just gets me really excited to see women now growing and doing what they want to do.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that's it's starting, and it's going to happen even more. So that's, I think, the big impact that's coming. It has happened, but it's going to be coming even more so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
bet. Yeah. Yeah. Well, for anybody listening to this and thinking like, wow, Kev, I really like Francesca. I love how she shows up. Maybe they're even thinking like, man, I might like to talk with her about my stuff, or maybe I have somebody else I want to connect her with. Any websites, any resources we can share?
Absolutely. My website is francescaray.com,
Okay.
and you'll find pretty much everything there of what I've been doing, what I'm up to. There'll be more things coming this year with a mastermind class coming up in May, and I am hosting my first retreat here in Ontario.
Wow.
So I'm very excited about that, and where you can locate my book. And yeah, there's a place where you can just connect if you want a 15-minute call. We can just kind of
Okay.
see where things are at. I'm always open to supporting anyone, but really my heart is right where women are and where they need support in regards to anything, as I say, dealing with a dollar sign.
Yeah. Perfect. Any
Yeah.
last thing that you feel led to share before we call it a wrap?
Ah, hmm. I don't know if this is, I feel like one of the things I often heard about it came from Danielle as well as Adele, but even Bob Proctor, right? If you can see something in the screen of your mind, you can hold it in your hand.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that has really been resonating with me in the last couple of years. So when I see a vision of something, I'm like, okay, that is for me, and that is what I need to work on. That is where I need to grow into, and to hold that vision of, yes, it's going to happen one day. I
Yeah.
just don't know how, but it will happen. So that's kind of my ending thoughts. And hopefully
I
that
love that.
inspires people.
I love that because yeah, Francesca, there's so much alignment between you and I, and just you're right. I mean, like we wouldn't be able to be blessed with the capability to see a vision without also having the capability to make it come to pass.
Right. Yeah.
And we don't always have to know the how. The how will make itself known as we just do our thing in this world.
Right. Right.
And
I think this comes to full circle to your opening with about Geo, right? Like he had a vision, he had a dream, he had an idea,
yeah,
and he's had like very famous people and multimillionaires and billionaires on his stage
yeah, yeah,
and in his presence, and just recognizing that he was just a real estate agent here in
yeah,
Ontario, Canada,
yeah,
and here he is, and he's Emmy award winner, like.
yeah, yeah.
I'm just like blown away. And so I think that just speaks to what we just said. Like if you can see something in your mind, it's possible and for you. So
Absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. Well, I'll tell you, I really want to thank you for taking the time to have this conversation today. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you. I'm excited to get this out there and share it with other folks. So thank you so much, Francesca.
Thank you, Kevin, for being who you are and what you do. And thanks to your audience for listening.
You bet.